I handed him the keys with a smile that felt brittle in my own mouth. Christmas lights flickered across the living room, shadows bouncing off the polished red of the car I'd saved for months to buy him. His eyes widened. For a moment I thought, maybe this is it. Maybe he'll see me. Then the laughter started, sharp, cruel. "An idiot who climbs poles for a living, giving me a car?" he said, his voice cutting through the warmth. The rest of the family joined in, echoing his mockery. I froze, the satin ribbon of pride slipping through my fingers. The car gleamed, but so did my humiliation. I didn't cry, I didn't yell. I smiled, quiet and hollow, and left the room. I thought back to when it used to be different. When I was 16 and he carried me on his shoulders in the park. When he said I had talent, that I could build anything. I believed him. I trusted him. That trust had been a bridge, and he burned it. At first, I blamed myself. Maybe I'd misjudged him. Maybe I'd misread the warmth in his eyes. But then, subtle things started to gnaw at me. A conversation overheard, a text left open on the kitchen counter. The way he always whispered about my work like it was beneath him. The way his friends smirked knowingly. Betrayal is quiet at first. It hides in laughter, in the polite nods that feel sharp against your ribs. But I collected the signs like evidence. I didn't react. I waited. I learned to listen to the silence after the laughter. That silence told me more than any confession ever could. I didn't plan revenge for the moment of Christmas. That was too obvious. I planned it in the months after, in the invisible spaces between meals and phone calls. I studied his finances, his accounts, the contracts he bragged about but never read. I watched him underestimate me, and I counted every small oversight. The morning came. I drove to the dealership before sunrise. The car was still in my name. The keys were mine again. I smiled at the salesman, cold and precise. The paperwork was simple, legally airtight. By 9 o'clock, the car was gone. Not stolen, not vandalized, just removed. The proof of my effort, of my care, was mine again. When he called, I let him stew. Let him realize, step by step, that the gift he had mocked was gone. The anger in his voice was delicious, but I kept it muted, silent. I let him unravel. I invited the family over that night. He arrived already tense, already sniffing for a confrontation. I served the wine. I smiled. I watched as he realized the car was missing. The words caught in his throat, and for the first time, the room was quiet. No laughter, no smirks. Only him, floundering, scrambling to understand how someone he'd called an idiot could outmaneuver him so completely. I don't understand, he muttered, voice low. "I saved for months to give you something you'd always wanted," I said, soft, controlled. "You laughed, you mocked. Now you see what it feels like to be underestimated." I let him absorb it. Every second was a masterstroke. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't yell. I didn't make a scene. I simply existed in the room, calm, composed, untouchable. The satisfaction wasn't in humiliation, though I admit it burned sweet. It was in the shift of power, the recognition that the bridge he burned could be rebuilt. Not for him, but for me. The trust I once placed in him wasn't naive. It was currency. I spent it wisely. He didn't ask for the car back. He didn't apologize. He didn't laugh again. And that, finally, was enough. The family's eyes flicked to me, uncertain, respectful, a silent acknowledgement of something they had all overlooked. I had the patience. I had the vision. I had the power. That Christmas, I didn't just reclaim a car. I reclaimed myself. And for the first time in years, I felt the warmth of a victory entirely my own.